up to you. So to start with, this is one thing that I want to let you know is that what we're trying to do here is we're trying to bring super intelligence, and super intelligence are of three types. So it's like speed intelligence, collective, and quality. So we are trying to bring in the aspects of prompting to ChatGPT using these three aspects. And then we're trying to create some kind of a prompt or a journey of a prompting so that we have a flow of, AI product owner buddy. So we cannot say assist, it is more about a kind of a buddy for a product owner as an AI, or for a Scrum Master, or for the architects, or for the developer or tester. So the journey of the flow of prompting is quite huge. But I'm trying to bring in some flavor here in this session that can at least give us a good idea, or maybe can enable you in a way of how you can think about it. We had a good point last time about what are the different perspectives of this role, and it would be quite great to see how the different personas or the perspectives of each role can think, and how ChatGPT can respond back to us based on those perspectives or personas of the Agile roles. So let me quickly go back and show you this. So there could be many personas. You can see my screen share. You have a Word document here. And definitely you can see that being a product owner, some of the key personas, there's some generic personas that could be more specific, but these are the ones which I highlighted in a way of with that, which is like a product owner has to be visionary. He will be having an innovator's hat. He will be a business strategist. He will be a data-driven decision maker if there's a data science involved. He will surely be an agile champion. He will be a collaborator to connect and have a gives and gets with whatever other roles are. And he will surely have some technology understanding or some kind of expertise with understanding of technology where he is. He or she may not be, but considering a fact today that product owners are quite closely and cohesively working with technology, taking this particular persona as well. Now, based on these personas, let's try to see how a product owner thinks. So let's first of all take this. Now I have my ChatGPT screen here, and let's try to put this. So I'm trying to put here that as a visionary persona, centric product owner, can you please provide strategy linked with? So this is something in detail about how a vision can be created for any kind of new initiative or new product dimensions. So CAPEX and OPEX are more of a capital expenditure and operational expenditure when you do a budgeting for any kind of a portfolio backlog item. I've just tried to see and take a glimpse of how a SAFe works and trying to generate the outcomes using a bit of a SAFe construct here. So as a visionary persona-centric product owner, can GPT provide a strategy linked with a capital expenditure or operational expenditure budgets that can define a portfolio backlog items for a business theme of providing new pensions product for the citizens of India based on the current pension and insurance schemes. So just go through the prompt, and the layout of the prompt tries to involve a bit of a quality super intelligence. I'm just trying to think in that direction. It is collective of what all I need, and also trying to see how quickly I can get what I require. And this is again kind of a learning and evangelizing, understand how prompt engineering really works. This can only come through a lot of practice, which maybe we all have to do, and even I'm still learning as a sponge on this. So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to create a new pensions product. Now, this is completely because I'm more from an insurance background. I normally get those examples. You can have it for any specific domains or any specific of your work items that you do. So let's see, as a product owner, if he's a visionary as a persona, what does GPT gives back to us? So now the first thing is that it will give us a particular problem here, that a GPT cannot give us the response on the budgets because they don't have the financial understanding and information about what's happening. What they will be doing is they will be giving more of other questions answers. So if you see here, you get a very, very specific understanding of, I can provide you some general guidance, right? But on the financial aspects, he's more on the organization. Now, a high-level epic for a new pensions product in India, if required in the insurance domain. These are the high epics, definition and business benefits that it will give. But now if I change, if I just change my prompt again, right, to generate more quality result in the same prompt here, if I just generate this, if I write this in just to one different change here, and as a visionary persona-centric product owner, can you please provide strategy linked with areas of capital and operational suggestive costing and budgets? So it is like we are asking GPT, we are asking ChatGPT that you provide a suggestive capital and operational costing based on your case studies or your understanding and your wisdom to define the portfolio backlog items for the business theme in the same way, right? And we need this in a tabular format. So now let's see, as a visionary persona of a product owner, what does it answer back to us? So now he got the answer, he got what is required. And suddenly you see the speed, the quality, and collective response coming together. So you definitely have the particular support system coming where you are getting the result in Epic, you have a business benefits, and it just suggested some costing and budgets. You don't have to go much in but it's just more of a suggestive of how this can be done. And they will suggest this about it. Now linking it back to the next particular persona of a product owner. If a product owner is customer advocate, right? If he's more of a customer understanding, is really replying back to himself being a customer, then what kind of a question can be asked and what the response would be. So let's see on this, as having customer advocate persona, can you provide market research analysis summary, user surveys outcomes, and feedback on the pension production limitations in a tabular format? Let's go and see. Based on the above epics, we're trying to just go back and see what the market surveys are. And this is completely being a customer advocate. So now you get a detailed market research analysis survey. You get user survey outcomes coming out of where today the insurance domain is, right? What are the feedback coming from the pension products and limitations in the existing product world, right, overall. And this will give a very good summary of the survey. Based on that, maybe the strategy can be planned again. This is more of a persona of a customer advocacy. You will definitely, in this version of PO, if you have this version in your hand, you will definitely have more suggestive questions coming as part of whatever you're doing relevant to that particular chat, to relevant of that instance. I just have a flow of going, so I'll go in that particular flow. In anywhere you feel that you have any questions, I'll take a pause after the product owner summary has been done. Just to clarify from my perspective, I hope I'm audible and my screen sharing is active.
Yes, Ketan.
Thank you very much. Okay, now that we did a customer advocacy kind of a thing, let's think about the product owner having a perspective or a persona of a business strategist. Now, because we already had a market survey done, we had the survey pointers coming in. Now, your product owner wants to have a new pensions product. What kind of a business strategy he would be having? So it's more about to understand what is a business analysis, high-level strategical roadmap, including generic trends of revenue, profit, and market share based on the above research, surveys, and feedback. So I've just kept product owner as a role everywhere. Now, you might argue about different roles about product managers and lean portfolio management, but at the end, we are developing a product, and a product owner can have personas and different roles as well. It is just about a different, different range of work that he's doing. So let's see, if we see a product owner having a business strategic persona, how would GPT tell us what the analysis is, roadmap is, and what are the trends coming out of it from the surveys and research, and what is the kind of a business value and capabilities that it can give it back to us. So now, based on this, we have the business analysis coming. This is more on the above survey. So whatever is in the context of this instance of ChatGPT window that I'm having, it will always take the same context going on, unless I want to clear the context, which I have to do from here. So it will always be in the same context, whatever is happening. right. So let's see the response somewhat in detail. As a detailed summary of what a business analysis is, it really wants us to, go and understand the retirement savings products. How the business analysis is about what is really lacking, lack of trust in financial institutions, high-level strategic roadmaps. It wants us to develop a personalized and flexible pension products. It wants to increase the awareness around getting the benefits. Step-by-step process of what particular strategic roadmap can be, or maybe that can be a game changer for the new pension product that we want to launch. Then what are the key business value enabled capabilities? Now this is more of a high level information given, that what can be the capabilities about it to make it happen, to make this particular business strategy work. Now that we have done a business strategist, I wanted to see a technical expert as a thought process here. Now I'm just trying to give a kind of a flip here. So because in one of my previous engagements, the technology systems that were used were completely about, back-end operating, front end you have back-end and you have some integration things. So I thought that maybe if a product owner is having some bit of a technical expertise who understands Pega or, front end tool like Jaya or integration, then what could be the key technological roadmap that a product owner with his technical expertise can build using a robust architecture? And what does GPT provide us as a layout of architecture, or can provide to the product owner with respect to these technological boundaries that we have? It could be any of them. I'm just using this based on whatever I had previously experienced. I just wanted to give a real-time flow of how actually it can work when we are actually practically hands-on. So let's see if a product owner is having a technical expertise of some technologies like Pega. Jaya is a front-end technology to generate views and screens, and integration is more about generating APIs to connect the Pega and Jaya together. It's more of any basic technologies that you do or you want to build like that. So it's going to give us a technology roadmap here. So based on a technology roadmap, what is architecture and design, how you design it. It is going to tell us what integration technologies are required, what kind of systems we need to have, how many payment gateways are required, what are the security and compliance pieces required, how can you do the testing, and what is the support and maintenance required. It is going to give us a very detailed layout or high level layout of architecture of how front end, back end integration, database, and cloud infrastructure can work. This is a very suggestive high level information that a product owner can himself get from the GPT for any technology to understand how technologically it really works. Where now he might post this required to go straight to the enterprise architect and understand how we can make it happen for all the epics that we have. So with that into consideration, let's move to the next persona of a product owner. I'm just going to, before the innovator, I have two more questions here. So whatever the above architecture is, if a PO wants to go more in depth and understand what are the detailed enablers, and enablers are more about what are the foundation architecture, exploration, or infrastructure kind of technological enablers that would be required to achieve whatever has been given to us above, and what can be the dependencies between them, and prioritization based on a safe prioritization mechanism called as WSJ, if it is weighted shortest job first. So whichever is having cost of delay as a highest, you prioritize that first. So based on this, let's see if a product owner is a technical guy, he really wants to understand more in detail about what is going to be the priority. Based on the above outcome, let's see what is the new outcome coming out of this. So it's going to give you in detail about high-level enablers that you require. Each of these enablers, you will have dependencies, you will have business value, and you will have the time criticality as well. I'm not sure how to scroll it down there. I can scroll from the table below. Yes. So it gives you, in addition to this, dependencies, business value, time criticality, risk reduction, and overall the prioritization score from WSJ for each enablers. So this is in detail to go with technology. And if I go more and deep dive in this, and if suppose a product owner wants to provide and get a detailed enabler backlog, having user stories and acceptance criteria for each of the API gateway implementation enabler. So we have one of the enabler here, which is specific like API gateway implementation enabler, which is more for integration piece. And if a product owner wants to t-shirt size it estimations and get other non-functional requirement stories as well, what do we get? So for one enabler backlog of API gateway implementation, we get the user story. One, we get the acceptance criteria for it. We also get the t-shirt sizing. We get the relevant non-functional requirement user story for that particular enabler story in a very, very specific detail. So this is just a synergy of how a product owner with this different personas can think for one product development. It could be anything. It could be, it is all about our own creation of how we really want to go about it. Now, being a technical expert, being a visionary business strategist, we have all done the analysis, we've done this, but what could be a differentiator if there is a new product coming in, and what is a differentiating factor that a product owner wants to apply and give it? So let's see if a product owner is an innovator, is want to have a persona of an innovator, how it would like to have support the innovation through whatever we have done with respect to technology here. Automatically, it comes down to AI and machine learning that you use these technologies, you implement blockchain technology, you integrate augmented reality, you leverage the IoTs, you should have serverless scalability, you should have edge computing. So these are some suggestions been given when a persona or a perspective of product owner as an innovator, he thinks. A lot of data might be involved as well. If you really want to have data coming in place or data science coming in place or a new pensions product, right? So if a product owner is a data-driven decision maker and he understands what data is, then how could he rely to make data analytics implemented? You know, how he can get the answer about analyzing data, user behavior based on the market trends and product performance existing, and that can guide him for the new pension product. So let's see, it's just a flow going so that you can get what I'm trying to do. So now it's very clear that AI, the way I've asked, they don't have real-time data, but it is completely a guidance coming from them that how they should be doing it. So again, there is a prompting error from me, which I have not prompted it correctly, because I'm directly asking that I'm a decision maker who relies on data analytics to be, could you please provide analyzed data? So when I say analyzed data, I'm trying to say to GPT that you already did this, which he will not be able to, which the system will not be able to respond it back to me. So let's see, in addition to this, how I can correct myself. So if I really give this again, and I just make a change here, could you please provide suggestive data on user behavior? So word analyzed to suggestive, let's see if there's a difference coming here. Still not, but it will still give you some particular data respect to each of the pointers mentioned, because he doesn't have a specific data. Now, if I change it again, could you please provide suggestive existing insurance or existing pensions, sorry. Let's see what it gives. Now I've just changed it completely. I've just said suggestive existing pension products data. Now it comes very directly that what we really require. So two mistakes we did in the prompt, we just changed the words there. We really want to have a quality super intelligence to come in picture. So this is just an example to tell you that we have to evangelize the prompt that we're trying to do, because we have to really reach out to what we need. And it is all about specific and going and making it quite clear what you require. So then you get very, very specific pointers coming to it. So this is more from a data-driven perspective. If you really want to create overall architectural runway, this is more from a data science perspective. And a product owner is really wanting to have a discussion with the data science architect or data architect, and you really want to get an overall architecture. I'm not listing the role now here because it is still in the relevance. So it will give us a very detailed, it should give, but still have a problem here that we have not been specific about what is required. So now again, the word suggestive is mentioned, is missed, and it should be more specific to the existing thing that went on. Can you please provide the overall? Can you please provide suggestive? Let's see if it gives it. Now it comes very specific. So what is a suggestive architecture? Runway for it. These are the steps coming very clearly for the entire data piece of work that should be done. And if you want to have a product backlog of user stories for that, which we discussed in the last session of how to create user stories and acceptance criteria, we'll have a specific segment of each and every points of all the product backlogs, which sprint it should be going, and what is overall prioritization. So this will give us AI-powered retirement planning tool. You have 3 user stories and a backlog for blockchain technology. Accordingly, this will go on from a technology perspective. There's another perspective here of, and the last one that I have for product owner is more about a collaborator. Now, there will be a lot of stakeholders, and including customers and developers and designers, right? And business analysts as well, that a product owner has to go and talk to. Now, this prompt is more about understanding the gives and gets between each other. So being a product owner as collaborator, can you please provide collaboration outcomes while working closely with stakeholders, including customers, developers, designers, and business analysts? Gives and gets pointers between each of the collaboration cadence on structured collaboration. So let's see what it gives. So it's going to give us a very generic, specific needs of how the collaboration should be. What are the required pointers, and how the collaboration should be. When you should be scheduling a meeting, you can have a cadence with each one of them, and in detail. We can still deep dive into it for each specific role with whom the collaboration has to be. And that is something that we can be achieved. So this was more from different personas of product owner as part of some generic personas of how at a high level to a level of technology and a business stories. Technology relating it to the technology, how a product owner will work, or how a product owner will think about it. But there are many other roles as well that product owner really exhibits, right? So let's try to create this. So now I'm trying to go into a role of AI product owner buddy as key sub roles, where we will evolve the flow from epics to capabilities to features. And we'll see now we have some high level epics here, which is coming from the business strategy above, right? And these are the high level epics that we already have. Now, suppose being a product owner having a persona of business analyst, can you please provide detailed business capabilities? So now we have to create the business capability out of these particular epics. So we have to mention the epics that you have. And then we see, does it create the capabilities? So now you have a business capability. You have second business capabilities for each epic coming individually. Now this is coming from the business side to create the backlog for your release trains or your arts and your teams completely. The other piece that I told earlier, the journey was about different personas. This is more from the roles perspective. So what we have here is we have each and every epic, we have business capability, we have description about it. It's a very detailed list that has been given. We can deep dive in each and every of the capability and can play around with. So now this was a business analyst at a high level. Now, if a product owner is having not a persona, it's a role of a product manager, or maybe a product manager himself. Now, can you please provide a roadmap for delivering each capability in program increments, having 3 release trains and 12 scrum teams? This is just a wild thought I had, and I just thought I will put it and see, just to give a flavor to you of how different it is if you are not quite clear and jumping onto the prompt way early before having more information. So now that we have capabilities above, it is going to give us program increment, how many sprints the release train should work, and what is that the team should be working. So you have Scrum teams 1 and 2 should work on data mapping and transformation for sprint 1. What is the sprint 2? What is the sprint 3? So you need to have 6 Scrum teams. So total we said 12 Scrum teams. So out of that, 6 are going to work for program increment 1 in release train 1. Program increment 2, release train 2 should work. So we don't have a link here because it's like the release train 1 will work and will go away for their journey, for their trip somewhere. Release train 2 will work next and release train 3 will work next. So because my prompt was not very clear, it has given the answers based on whatever resources I have tried to provide to them. So each of them, we have a detailed list of each and every capability that I mentioned. And they had a list of all the program increments for each of them. But still it's quite confusing because I just I've not introduced, or I've not improved the quality super intelligence in this. But I have a very detailed one here, which is more from a perspective of solution manager. So now I'm trying to be quite more specific. It's more about, I think this is more easy to read. Being a product owner, having a persona or a role of a solution manager, can you please put a roadmap converting these capabilities into value streams? Provide detailed list of features for each value streams, number of release trains required for each value streams, and number of Scrum team required under each release trains. With Pega, Jaya, and integration technologies, what would be the team composition? Provide split of features across release trains and provide interdependency between release trains. So I'm trying to bring in more details here. And this is coming from a different persona of a solution manager. Let's see what it gives. So now whatever capabilities we had, it is converting it into a value stream, because value stream generation, at the end we generate value. And what are going to be the features that the trains are going to work? What will be the Scrum team composition? It could be developers and testers. What's going to be the count about it? So let it complete. If you see you will have the feature name, release train name. You will also have number of Scrum teams. What should be the Scrum team composition for it? And this will give a detailed analysis of the way we put forward the prompt. So right to start with, you have value stream 1, pension scheme consolidation. You have 5 features. You need 2 release trains to work on it with 8 Scrum teams. So 1 release train should have 4 Scrum teams. The team composition should be this for this particular technologies, and split of features across release trains. Release train 1 should have these 3 features. Release train 2 should have the 4 and 5 feature. Interdependencies are quite very clearly mentioned about release train 2 is dependent on the completion of release train 1. So they have to really work accordingly to plan it out. This is a detailed analysis of planning that normally happens before a PI planning happens. Now, if a PO is a business owner, right, who really prioritizes the PI planning objective every time in a safe construct, and we go and see this, let me go and tell you this. So being a product owner, having a persona of business owner, can you please provide number of program increments needed for each value streams? Can you also provide PI planning board for each release trains under each value stream, having 4 sprints in each PI, with categorizing features in sprints, showcasing dependencies for each feature, each sprint and relevant trains for each Scrum team. So this is more about going in detail of can you provide the PI planning board? Considering that the PI planning has been done by GPT themselves, right? And what is the answer coming out of it? So for value stream 1, you need 3 program increments. The PI planning board is like this. Release train PI 1 to 4. What is the sprint? Scrum teams 1 and 2 should work on feature 1. Scrum teams 3 and 4 should work on feature 2 in sprint 3. This is more, you can go more and specify this in detail individually as well to get specific information. And this will go on for all the value streams. We can get the entire yearly roadmap or a 2-yearly roadmap based on the dynamics of customer needs or the product needs when we really want to launch it. And this really gives a great way of representation that can be reviewed. And it's a very great assist, or I'd say it's a very good buddy, AI buddy for a product owner to utilize these different perspectives and personas to generate whatever relevant outcome they want. We can go beyond this to provide Scrum teams to each sprint. You can map it. You can also generate prioritized PI objectives for each Scrum team. If you want to see that, I can do that as well. I think it's still not stopping because it's a huge information coming. But with almost 35 minutes of talk that I had, this is the last perspective I have. So I'll take a pause here, and any questions on AI product owner buddy kind of a thing. This is limitless. We can go beyond this as well, but so far this is what made me think about to showcase with the time that we have. Any questions on this? So I will take some questions for 5 minutes, and I will move to the next topic straight away.
Yeah. Hey, Ketan, thanks for sharing this. Okay, so one quick question for me, because there is a lot of subjectivity here and hallucination that we are calling is AI hallucination, right? And you must have heard of this. Now, did you see any difference between GPT-3 and GPT-4 version? Have you ever used this much traction in GPT-4?
Yeah,
and
yeah. I've been using this. I have a GPT-4 here itself. You know, it's just that it just quite quickly the answers, or maybe I have to go and relate it completely. But the difference that comes down to you is the quickness, the kind of information or the layout is different. Even if the same thing has been done in a normal GPT version, the outputs are different. So when I go back here, I've done the same exercise in this, but the outputs are quite different. So when I say
which one did you like with respect to?
I like the GPT 3.5 the most. 4 is giving me quite detailed information. It's quite quick, but I think 3.5 right now is quite relevant to the topic that I need. But if you go to 4, you really have to do good quality super intelligence to get the outcome. It gives you quite quicker. So, but we really have to be quite specific about the prompts there. I still have to evolve and evangelize this, but it is my perspective. Maybe I may be wrong there, but the utilization of 3.5 is more that I have used than 4. 4 is quite quicker, but I would say that qualitatively, we need to be quite specific on the prompts.
Okay. And another follow-up question here. So is there any software who gives us the prompts based on what we say?
Well, see, we have to create one. See, to be very frank, the next step of prompting, if I try to be a bit innovative here, right? Now that the world knows that we have to prompt.
Yes.
What is the next step here, right? What would the next step of innovation come in the world? It could be a checklist of prompts, which is as close as what a role is required. So if I am having a documentation here, can this documentation be a checklist, and can that be served to a tool so that you just provide a high level vision and automatically those templates come in front of you, or those kind of checklist comes in front of you, and automatically that checklist is something, it automatically goes to the GPT and gives back the entire result that is coming to. So I'm not sure about all right now the tools which have been worked upon, but I'm thinking in the way that if I keep on writing like this, or keep on prompting like this, I may certainly need a checklist of my own, that this is, if I have to go for this structure, these are the set of prompts that has to be executed. automatically. And that would be the next, I think, next version of prompt engineering that might be coming.
Okay. Okay. And the last one from me, can we save this as a prompt? Because now you have or a persona. So now you have given a training to your version of GPT that, hey, you are a visionary, you are this, you are that. Okay, is there any place that you can save it and then reuse it for the next PI? So next PI, you don't need to give all this like 20-25 prompts.
So first of all, right now you have your own instance of GPT saved every time. So if you go here, I have all of my instances saved. I can reuse the same instance, can just run it through, but I don't have a specific checklist or specific kind of a prompt or instance that I can use specific for a multiple different PIs. I have to re-go through everything. But there are tools which I feel where you can generate the specific particular prompt checklist or prompt template or prompt synopsis, and you just run it through the next PI and it gives it back to you. But the interesting thing here is that to generate the next PI outcome or PI details from GPT, the input from program increment one is required. So you have to link the outcomes, and based on that, you have to ask it for the PI2, so that the linkage is there between two program increments.
So got you. Thank you.
All right.
Hi, Ketan. This is Jerome here.
Hey, hi, Jerome.
Yeah, your sessions are very awesome, and that's why I joined your part 2 session also. See, as a product owner, right, if I'm going to run this and then probably formulate a strategy, etc., right, the same information would be available with my competitor also, right? How can I use it for a competitive, how can I get a competitive edge on this? And moreover, if I'm going to put some context, right, then ideally this ChatGPT is going to learn that, and my competitor is also going to use that information. So how do we actually ensure that we want the model to learn some of the context, and at the same time, right, we need some controls in place so that it's meaningful for us to make some decisions?
See, there are three aspects to it. Now, when we are into a product development, now ChatGPT is anyways, this is an entire generative AI, and the way it is giving the answers is completely based on regenerative learning. So whatever has been there as an input, it gives back to us. It's just a guidance. It is just like our 12 principles and 4 manifesto points in Agile manifesto and Agile principles. It's a kind of a it's just a kind of a suggestive way of doing it. It's up to us how we implement it. If we have to get an edge over anybody else, we need to utilize GPT through some other specific tool of your organization or your product delivery, who can use GPT for only those specific needs of your strategy that cannot be shared across to GPT or other world. That's what I think many of the organizations are doing nowadays, where they will have their own AI model on top of GPT. They will only trigger the questions and only trigger the prompts required to generate to support their own AI model, which is quite specific to their org or for a customer or for any product. And depending on that and depending on their algorithms and knowledge about regenerative learning, it will build a strategy which will be quite specific towards the need that you have, and it will not be available to the competitor. So this is going to give you more specific information that is available. If you really want to go to information which is only available to you and not public, then definitely we need to create an AI model on top of this and get the support from here and get the specification and rules from your needs so that it could be more specific. I think a lot of orgs and a lot of product delivery area, IT services are doing this right now, because that is how they're going to get a benefit edge.
Yeah, thanks, Ketan, for clarifying it. Yeah, thank you.
I can separately share some names as well of those specific AI models.
That will be very helpful. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, I just want to see some chat. There's one question there. Can we revisit the product roadmap creation example, how it will help, or will this help? Yeah, definitely. You can go ahead. You can generate the OKRs as well, Prasanna. So it's more about when you have the capabilities and value streams at a value stream level itself, you can generate the OKRs. But remember that you have to then specify the key results and the leading and lagging indicators and how they're linked to the feature delivery. So that is a flow that you have to create and you can do it. Okay. So with that into consideration, if we dwell down and we create more stories, that can be done. We can go to the story and the prioritization layer. So this was more of a product owner's persona and perspective in detail. I will now jump towards a bit of a architecture and developer layer. Okay, so this is more that we have an epic. If an enterprise architect is trying to have some kind of aspect here of how ChatGPT can use them. Now again, we have these epics and we have to be linked to it, right? So now we have the epics. Now, how about the technology landscape of it and how it really comes down to the developer? We still have 10 minutes. I will finish it in 10 minutes, I feel. So let's say as an enterprise architect, can you please provide detailed architecture of the above mentioned epics considering Pega as a backend orchestrator? And this is quite specific to the technology here. So I'm just clicking this. Just trying to put it here. But I need to give the epics as well. So let's see what it gives. So it's going to give a very specific pointers of how the architecture would look like. Right? What would be the backend orchestrator, how the content would be created, which are the different providers coming in their way, right? Again, this is quite subjective here because I didn't mention the tabular format. Sorry for that. But I think the next question I'll mention the tabular format. Again, can you please provide technology enabler epics? Because now we have business epics above. Can it give me an enabler epic, their dependencies, high-level architecture, key risk, and all the key risk involved and guardrails across the technology landscape? So if we give this specific in line to it, what does it give? So now it gives me a technology enabler epics of API management, DevOps automation, compliance, analytics and reporting. What are the dependencies between them? What are the key risks? What are the guardrails? So guardrails, just to reference, guardrails are just like those tires which are there in the Bay Area when you're doing some boating. It really doesn't want the impact on the boat. So you have big tires which have been placed across the Bay Area. If you have ever been to Gateway of India, you might see that. The same way you have guardrails across your release trains or your solution or your value streams, which is quite important to see how this could be reduced or what are the pointers that we can take up. So based on this, if you go in detail about a role about being a solution architect, what are the enabler capabilities, you get that. If you go in more about solutioning, then can you please give me a technical solutioning for the enabler capability for retirement planning and forecasting, one of the epics above. So let's just take these two and I'll take a developer one so that you get the flow here. So this is going to give you the entire enabler capabilities, whatever is required as a solutions architect for the new pensions product. If you go down, if you ask him a technical solutioning for the enabler capability for one of the epic, that is retirement planning and forecasting. It is going to give you the entire technical solutioning of it, of how we should approach to it, how we should deliver it, and what are the steps of it. Again, a suggestive approach. It is going to be specific for everybody, which we have to review. But at least it is going to give you a lot of information to think about and can ease out a lot of things. And on technical solutions, if you really want to understand dependencies and gives and gets, you can do this. So if you go here and think about dependencies as a solutions architect, I can provide the dependencies and gives and gets. So dependencies between each of those, what are the gives and gets between those enabler capabilities, and a total summary. Now let's see, this is more from a solutions architect standpoint. if I go and understand from Pega piece, just a Pega piece, a simple Pega architect, he wants to understand the technical logic for the above listed gives and gets from Pega side, right? So it's going to give the gives and get from Pega side. What should be done from the Pega perspective? And I was quite surprised to share with everyone that so much of information is available on Pega here, because Pega is, they themselves as an organization have a very great information, but a lot of things are available here, which is quite surprising for me as well. And now I come down to a developer. So now as a Pega developer, how Pega can be used to implement the technical logic for the retirement planning. So now a developer can go and check on GPT of how I should be implementing the technical logic for the retirement planning. So it will give a step-by-step process again. And post this, if a developer really want to go and deep dive for the code, they can certainly do that. So if I go here and say, as a Pega developer, how can we create a new service REST tool in Pega and provide code for the same considering about tech logic? Let's see what it gives. So it's going to give very step-by-step process of what he should be doing. It's a very, very specific technicality. You get the response in the code and what all files are there and so on and so forth. You can complete and you can get that done. I'm completing the SDLC with a tester here. So I'm saying as a tester, can you please provide detailed scenarios and test cases to cover the test coverage for above capability? So for everything, you will have test cases coming. These are all manual. And this is only for one retirement planning and forecasting. We can do it for, we can go and we can do it for each and every capability, which will be huge. And again, we definitely have automation testers as well. So if as an automation tester, if you want to see the test scripts for each of the above, based on the automation tool. Now I made a mistake when I said on the best automation tool you feel. It doesn't feel, right? Best automation tool you suggest. So based on the automation, you will have Selenium WebDriver coming in picture. And it will have its own, so he just here, I think ChatGPT has suggested Selenium WebDriver, and based on that, they have the test scripts coming for each of them for the retirement plan and forecasting. So just a synopsis I wanted to cover from a product owner's perspective and link to the developer and tester level of how the entire flow can work and go at level. So that's all I have for today. Within the time limits I have, I do have Scrum Master as well, but I don't think I'll be able to cover that here. It's going to be quite generic of how Scrum Masters or AI Scrum Master buddy would be supporting this, but maybe we might need a separate time for that. But with the interest of time, I thought I will cover the product owner in detail, also the architects and developers in detail. So any questions so far? To practice yourself as well, because if we meet next time, or maybe if that happens, maybe it is good to have an interaction with all of you to see what you have done as well, because it is really just to be practicing that and trying to create it. Definitely what we're trying to do is going to ease the roles as well, but we also have to think innovatively. What is the next step in future? What is the next step in near future? What's the next step that different organizations are going to go beyond this? Because everybody knows now it, and once you know about it, there is nothing new in knowing it, right? So you can go and you can practice it as well. So it's more about to be, as I said earlier in my slide, I'll just share this. It's all about speed intelligence. It is the brain than human, but act more faster. Collective intelligence is many brains put together. So we have to find the personas and perspectives. And we have to also see different scenarios and situations from different perspectives. That can give you a collective intelligence and response back. And it is also about a quality intelligence of how you can be very specific to generate a quality response. If you just write one liner, it will give a response to you. But is this really helping you from the overall perspective of how you should be supporting? So this is more, I'm still learning. This is a very big subject to learn, and I'm really a student of it. I'm just learning and learning like a sponge. And maybe if you have any more creative insights, I'm happy to learn from all of you as well. So that's all from me. And